Well, hello there, folks. Happy Thursday evening to you all. And let me see if I can make sure that my audio sounds good. Open up the tablet here and see what's going on. Let's see. Looks like we got the live. Nope, not. Yeah, that would be now, I believe. Things aren't quite working out right yet, I don't think. Make sure I'm live here. Not seeing any messages. Did it go live? It says streaming. It says I'm live. Clicking on the link here, and it's not doing a thing. Is YouTube having problems? Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. All right, it says there's one person watching. It says there's one person watching. All right. So the video is, or the audio is working, so that's a good thing. Fred must be the only one here. Hey, Fred. Hope you're doing well. Not work. The Social Stream Ninja is not working as expected, or as I would hope it was working. There's Mind of Milton. DC Blades is here. Back up, and TKE was here at one point in time, apparently. And Neil McKenzie. Good deal. Neil McKenzie's actually been a member for 9 months. Congratulations, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, let me close this out and try again, because that didn't come up as I expected. I'm not seeing you guys' conversations to me. Whoa, not what I tried to do. If this works. One day we're going to have a flawless. Everything's just going to start up like it's supposed to. But today is not that day. It's not wanting to work together. Great. Okay, is what it is. Fred says, do not have a lot of time every time to hang with the wife. Understand, man. Totally. Yeah, especially, I think you're back working now. So I appreciate you thinking of us and stopping by, Fred. Much appreciated. But I think you've started back working, and you started back working, and I understand you got to spend some time with your wife. If it starts up without any problem, that's right, Fred. You no longer need help with gadgets. Now change your channel. Oh man. Well, that's because you have to get up at 0 dark 30 and be there, because your surgeons like to start the day way too early, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. All right, let me figure this out, because apparently this has decided it's not working correctly. Have a good one, Fred. I appreciate you. And trigger a fake message. That fake message is not coming across at all. He says, dude, I couldn't hang with my wife long enough. She goes nuts. Oh, yep. Flicking my knife. Yeah, I was doing that the other day, and my wife's like, stop. Just stop. And she's not averse to my knife shenanigans. Okay, so that came across, and that came across, but that's not what I needed. Okay, but that's better than what was happening a while ago. So that cleared it. All right, let's see if it starts working now. DC says apparently he likes to aggravate his wife, is what I'm hearing. When I really want to tick her off, I bring my OTF utility box play cut. Oh my. Open, close, open, close, open, close. I can usually get away with opening and closing a few times, but I'm not even thinking about it, and I get in trouble. So uh, after a while, right? The goal is not to get her irritated at you. It happens sometimes. All right, that knife is. I think that's a little bit better. That was messing with me a little bit. I don't think I'm OCD or anything, but it was messing with me. Or maybe I am. Who knows? Well, hello there, Mo Patty. All right, let's see if this gets it working. DC says she's not a knife person. She likes my knives. Yep, mine is. I wouldn't consider mine a knife person per se. She does have several knives, and she carries knives on a regular basis. In fact, I was looking for something in her pocketbook a few minutes ago and noticed her little fixie in there. So she carries, which I'm glad about. And hey, Trish, we're working on our social stream ninja because it decided it's not working. Oh, she's your worst critic. That's because you're building. That's because you make knives, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. She probably is brutally honest with you about whether or not she likes a knife. I have my ham radio here in the background to do a check in, but apparently somebody's not running the net, so I'm not going to be able to check in. Too honest. Well, that just makes you better, right? Though maybe. Wait a minute. This knife is that's shorter. Maybe. I think that's better. DC says I have a Cobra 2000 base station. I assume that's CB, which is very cool. I I set my go live at the same time I set my live at a time that there's actually a net running, and I tried to check in last week and apparently I missed the entire thing, and I was going to make sure that I checked in, gadgets and such. I was going to check in tonight, but apparently nobody's running the net, so I can't help that. DC says it's a CB, but it's been modified to go all over the place. Can talk ham, talk sideband. I would encourage you to get your license if you haven't already. It's a lot of fun, and it's pretty cool to be able to talk with people all over the world. And without somebody getting mad at you. So uh, that wouldn't be me, but 500 watts, yeah, that's a good you're pushing pretty good power there. I've I've used 100 watts and talked all over the world with it. So with a good antenna, I mean, I like it. It's a lot of fun. Now we got something coming here. It looks like something popped up. So it's finally found this it finally found my chat, and so now I do have what I needed to. FCC regulations for CB, which means citizen band is only 2 watts. Yep, yep. Oh, I understood that it was that you were pushing a whole lot more than what would be the norm for that. Um, I can go I can go 2,000 watts. I think I don't even know. Seriously, I've only ever used 100 watts unless I was. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, I've only ever used 100 watts unless I was at somebody else's house using whatever they had. So that's where I stick with. This is I know a guy who ran 25,000 watts. He shut down the town for 6 months. Nobody could find him. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that happens sometimes. We have, in fact, sometimes on the local repeaters, we have to sometimes shut the local repeaters down because there are folks that wanted to play music and movies and such, commercials or whatever over the airwaves, and that's not what it's intended for. So that's unfortunate, especially if it's an emergency situation and someone's trying to use it for purposes such as that. So held down the mic, locked it. Yeah, and some people do that. I was pausing a second. I'm hearing some activity on the repeater, and looks like somebody's taking the net. So I'll try to kind of listen here in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Y'all let me know if you can, and if y'all can hear it, I'll turn it down. But I'm gonna try to listen here in a few minutes and check me and my wife in. I actually encouraged her to get her license, and she did. And so she doesn't use it a whole lot, but I'm trying to encourage her to do so. All right. Well, hopefully my mic is set up pretty good. Um, yeah. Oh, hopefully that it's not you're not able to hear it. Um, so it looks like the social ninja's being flaky tonight because that's actually the last message that I see on social ninja. And then there's been a couple of more messages, so we're just gonna ride it out. It's not I don't think it's anything on my end. Neil McKenzie says the latest emergency message after these messages. Right, right. Um, and it kind of falls in line with what I was wanting to talk about tonight. Um, ham radio was very important during Helene, especially up in Western North Carolina, where that was pretty much the only way they had of getting messages in or out until some Starlinks got dropped in certain places. But in a lot of cases, they kept communications running via ham radio for days uh, until things got straightened out. And that being said, I don't know where you guys live. I'm here in South Carolina, and latest weather report is that they're thinking that we're going to get a substantial amount of ice starting Saturday night into Sunday morning, and not really looking forward to that. Um, so it kind of got me thinking. A lot of us guys do the knife thing because of that's part of our EDC carry, and part of the EDC is being prepared in case um, something, something comes up, whatever it might be. So I kind of thought I'd ask you guys if that was why you like knives. Um, if you like, if there are other EDC things that you liked as well, and how that translates into your thought process for something like an upcoming storm. And I know that it's happening in other parts of the country. And in fact, this storm here is supposed to be from like Texas to up the East Coast. So it's crazy. And I'm starting to get my messages back over here again. So those are the things that, hey, William Hornbostel, thank you for being here. DC says it's brutal here in the Chicago suburbs. I can only imagine. You guys are probably getting some substantial amounts of snow. Mr. Eddie says box is ready to ship, Tomas. Roger that. I appreciate it, Eddie. And if when I get off here, I'll see if I can't get you fundage. Y'all check out Mr. Eddie whenever he's got some knives up for sale. He usually has some decent knives, and you may want to check with him, see what he's got. William Hornbostel says, I'm prepped and ready. I got the last 6 gallons of propane from Walmart for my big buddy heater. Hey, that's, I actually stood in line for probably about 45 minutes today. To get propane because that's one of the items that I have is a buddy heater. And I have the conversion hose. So that's one of the things that's one of my backup methods for heating. We do have gas logs, and I also have a kerosene heater that I can pull in the house if need be. Mr. Eddie says, "What storm? You sound like Rolf." Well, there's in the East Coast, and if you were probably still in Louisiana, you'd have probably heard about it. There's a big storm coming across potentially in the next few days. OC Omega Stacking, hey, appreciate you being here. I think that's the first time I've seen you on the live, and appreciate you being here. Appreciate it very much. DC Kong says wind. That's the other part of it. It's the ice with or the potential with a substantial amount of ice and a large amount of wind, which is not going to be fun here either. But I can see that in Chicago, yeah, crazy windy. Well, it's kind of the Windy City type of thing. William Humbostel says, I'm in Del Rio on the southern edge of where this ice is supposed to be. See, all the way out to Texas. So it's going to be interesting, I think. That's right. Appreciate that. OC Omega says, hit the like button. Field 3, yep, absolutely. Trying to be prepared. Eagle Scout EDC, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate it. Been a while since I've seen you, and that's partly my fault. I think I've seen you on a live and didn't get on there with you. DC said it's called the Windy City for another reason, and it's because of politicians airing their whatever. Hey, it's Dog One. The gadget's doing okay. Social Streams decided it's going to partially work for me right now. So it seemed to be lagging a little bit. DC, I understand. I think it's really the wind part of it, but it may be a dual meaning there. Hey, Metal Relic Art. Thank you for being here as well. OC says, OC Omega says, they're lagging. Oh no, it's all good. We just hang out and talk here. But it's, just kind of kind of chatting about at least for this time about the storm for that's in potentially going to impact our area. I say that because it seems like a lot of times um, they don't quite get it right, and what's supposed to be a storm of the century turns into a non-event, which I hope is the case here. I do not want to be without power for uh, days on end. We had 9.5 days, I think it was, when Helene hit, um, and we weren't in an area that I would say was heavily impacted. We did have trees down in the area, um, so that's. I mean, it is what it is. It's dog one. Where are you located? I know I've sent you stuff before, but I don't remember. DC says I have a generator. Yep, I've tested the generator out. So that's the first level there. Uh, Texas. Yep, this storm is supposed to be from Texas up the East Coast, from what I understand. Same, DC. I think I'm going to take the one over to my mother-in-law's house. Um, we actually got a new one after Helene. Um, it's interesting having a generator running for over a week. I ended up having problems. Ended up getting some bad gas was what the problem was. Um, or one of the problems. So I ended up going and get my dad's generator. He lives about 45 minutes away, and he had power back the next day. So, which is pretty cool. So I went and got his generator, and I guess the trip back over here to my house dislodged all of the rust that was in the tank, and it ran okay, and then it didn't run okay. So ended up going and getting a generator from a guy across the street from me, because his he was running off a Generac, and we had days before we had actually cleaned his generator up and got it ready just in case somebody needed it. So um, I was lucky enough to have him, and then about as soon as I got that over and got it cranked up, it didn't take but just a few minutes until they had the power up and running. So it's pretty crazy. Let me check into the net right quick, you guys. They got two guys trying to check in at the same time, so that's not going to work. I'll wait. Let's see. Let me scroll back. Dog One says we got a storm coming in tomorrow night. Yep, I mentioned that um, because that's the same storm that's coming in here. It's sometimes I'm busier than other times, Eagle Scout, but I need to try to make some other um, uh, lives that I haven't made lately. Dog One says I got 10 power banks. Yeah, that's good too. I like having um, I like having backups of backups now, because I mean Helene was an eye opener for a lot of people in this part of the country, and when I say there were lines to get stuff, there's lines, and people were being very polite, but there was lines to get propane. As I mentioned, I stood in line for like 45 minutes this morning to get propane, and it's one of those things. DC says I got to roll mine out, then I can plug into the side of the house that run. Yep, same here. Had a friend, actually a ham friend of mine, came over and made some changes um, in my breaker box so that I could properly run it. And then we wired up wired it up so I can run it from outside. So the other thing that I do hope to get tomorrow is a tent to um, put over the generator, since they're calling for ice and maybe freezing rain. Uh, I don't want that out in the weather, so hoping to get one of those, like just a tent to put up over it. William Hornbostel says I have two Jackery solar Jennies. That's very cool too. Um, that'll work awesomely for you as well. Omega, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for doing that. Dog One says stores are whipped today. Yep, absolutely. And we've got it's not supposed to actually hit here until Saturday about 6 p.m., but it's already got crazy. So again, it is what it is. Let me turn that one off. All right. William Humbrostel says I got a camp stove ready. Very important. Big Buddy and two Jackeries plus the backup batteries and flashlights. Yep, everything. And what I'm hearing as well is you've got backups of backups. So that's really cool, and that's part of it. As I mentioned, I've got William Humbrostel. Have a good one, man, and y'all stay safe this weekend. Kentucky Windage, thank you for being here. Do appreciate it. And I think that's the first time that I may have seen you as well. And Omega says I'm back. Very cool. A couple of you guys, that's the first time I've seen you on my lives, and I appreciate you being here. Um, hit that subscribe button if you would like, and you would like to be notified and all that kind of stuff when I go live. But I appreciate you stopping by nonetheless. I'm kind of listening here in the background because I want to check in on this net, and that's absolutely correct there, Neil McKenzie. Need a contingency plan for the contingency plan, and that's pretty much how it goes. Um, as I mentioned, I want to take the backup generator over to my mother-in-law's house. She has a generator, but apparently they had a hard time cranking it last time. Um, and her husband is that has dementia. So, as my wife mentioned, that would a give her some leverage with the neighbors as well, to say, hey, you can borrow my this generator, but I need you to help me crank this generator. So, hey, Henry G, thank you for being here, man. And there's Roger Baker. Thank you for being here and appreciate it, man. Yeah, she's getting along pretty good, but yeah, it's rough being with the dementia. Sometimes he'll wake up and be perfectly fine. There's other times he'll he'll be somewhere else. He'll be in another time, and she'll just have to try to distract him until he can take a nap, and then he may be fine again. So, uh, but yeah, it's rough because he was one of those that would always doing something and was very handy. Yeah, and that's rough too. Um, that's rough too. And again, I'm trying to keep an eye out to when I hear there's a uh, pause in that they're inviting folks to check in. Oh, here we go. KJ4UAU. Please check in Kilo 4 X-ray Bravo. That's K4XB. My name's Tommy. Also, please check in Kilo Quebec 4, to be determined, KQ4 TBD. That's Miss Angela, both here in Southern Greenville County, negative and negative. Good evening to you, Arthur, and everyone on net. All right, now he's acknowledging me, so. And he just called my wife my much better half. He actually knows us. Now he's asking me a question. Hang on. All right, so I got checked in, but I think he may ask me a question here in a minute. Neil McKenzie says I just got an Abri ARM7 AMFMCB. Cool. Omega says my carry today is the Coffin Tanto knife, Leatherman free. Very cool. Omega, very cool. Being from New York, thank you for being here. And DC says, have you ever heard of Browning? I have heard of Browning. I am not as up on CB equipment as I am on ham radio equipment. I do have, a couple of CB radios, I think, over there. I think I can see two from where I'm sitting right here. Omega, keep on going, man. Mine started out really slow too. It's not got a whole lot faster, but we're approaching 1,500 subs here, and planning a pretty good giveaway when I do reach that. 1,500, I've got a TRM knife to give away, a QSP knife, and a Latama. So some pretty cool knives to give away. But keep on going, man. Keep after it. All right, let's see here. All right, back to the preparing for the storm part. We've got some food that should last for a few days, and we're on well water. The generator should be able to run the pump for that. At least that's the way it's worked in the past. So we should have heat, power to power the house when we need it, and also to run the freezer and the refrigerator. And I hope you're correct, DC, but they're calling for a half-inch or more of ice, which, along with the wind that they're forecasting, could take down a lot of power lines, which would be the bad part of it. And it's not that a lot of the stuff is not underground, so we've got a lot of above ground infrastructure. So there's that. It could be interesting. Hopefully, it is a non-event. Roger Baker says 1,500 subs is great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Still trying to get there. And Roger, I'm in upstate South Carolina, in close to Greenville, South Carolina. So right back up into the, not quite in the mountains, but I can see mountains from very close to the house. So, which sometimes helps us. Sometimes it kind of funnels the weather off to the north a little bit. Roger says my brother lives just outside of Greenville. I live about as far south in Greenville County as you can get, Roger Baker. And no, we not usually there, DC. We do get some storms. Tornadoes usually aren't. They're usually very mild here. except for Helene last year, which was a hurricane, I know, but I've heard other people say it, and I kind of wonder if it's not the case as well. Is that Helene was spawning a bunch of little tornadoes that were dropping down and made a mess of a lot of places around here. It's just, it was, granted, I'm not used to hurricane type storms. We live 3.5 hours inland, um, and we're not used to that. But there were areas that just almost, almost all the trees were just laid down. Um, and maybe that's the way hurricanes work. But this was weird because this Helene actually came up through, I think, the panhandle of Florida, Georgia, and then up through South Carolina, and then absolutely devastated Western North Carolina. They are still recovering. And we still saw damage from that when we rode up to the mountains to do the leaf peeping stuff in the last fall. So yeah, that's the fear of DC, the heavy ice storms, and that's not fun. But we're hoping. I haven't seen what they're saying here in the last few days, or few hours, because it's ever changing. I mean, it's um, they're, according to what the models are saying, sometimes it's getting worse, sometimes it's getting better. We shall see. It's going to depend a lot about what the temperature is when all this stuff gets here, and it was actually pretty warm today. Yesterday was cold. It got up to around 50 here today, so we'll just have to see. It'll be what it'll be. Hey, Solid Sharpening, it has been a while, man. Thank you for being here. DC says I'm pretty lucky to be where I'm at, I guess. Hey, hopefully things are easy for y'all as well. I think the storms are supposed to be pretty bad across the whole South, if I'm not mistaken. From maybe Texas up into north to Oklahoma and to probably, I think I saw Missouri too, and then of course Tennessee and everything. You're right. Ice storms are very dangerous. And Omega, pleased to meet you, Amos. Thank you for being here. And I've been pretty good, Solace. Hope you are as well. DC says I've got enough stuff in my house to last me for at least a week or two, so I'm not worried. Yep, absolutely. And that's kind of the way to be now. And as I mentioned, a lot of us, as some of us, I don't know about you guys as well, but some of us, the reason we carry pocket knives is the whole being prepared type of us, being prepared for any situation, and carrying the things that you might need. So that kind of translates over into being prepared for a storm. Although a lot of us were caught unaware, I wasn't expecting Helene. I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of wind and maybe some rain, which is, that's normal. But what we woke up to Saturday morning was not normal. We woke up to wind howling and wondering if the trees were going to stay where they were supposed to be or come down on the house. We lost some trees, but none of them really impacted us. The ones that fell across the driveway where we could get around. It wasn't a big deal. I had quite a few trees in the back part of the property that fell, and one of them almost landed in the top of my tripod stand. So, but that was it. Roger Baker says I would rather have the snow any day over ice. Exactly. Snow, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Mm. But the ice, and when they're talking about quarter, half, 3/4 of an inch of ice, that's not any fun. And that's the main thing. Omega is keeping your family stay safe, and also as DC said, if you have pets and you let them outside, be careful they don't stay out there too long. Yep, and our dogs are pretty good about coming back in. They're big dogs. Um, they're pretty good about coming back in and not staying out too long. And this dog one says knife has been a tool that needs to. Yeah, that's. I don't feel right if I don't have a knife, and it's funny and maybe a little sad, but even when we travel, um, if I can't take a knife with me, I'll usually get a knife um, while I'm there. And in one case, my daughter actually brought one that I bought to me uh, a few months later or weeks later. And then this last trip we flew in, but we took the train back, so I was able to carry the knife on the train. So, um, and if that didn't work, I would probably figure out some way to mail it back to myself. Yep, wet snow is okay. Dry snow is even better because it doesn't tend to um, be that heavy, or at least in my limited experience. These used to put stuff on their feet, mushers, yeah, to keep them from cutting their paws and stuff. Yep. And Omega, absolutely, knives are useful. They're very good tools. Dog one says off the plane, buy a paring knife and give it away. Back on the plane. And that's absolutely one way of doing it. I've also seen folks that will get one of the um, utility type knives and carry that with them, which they can get on the plane if they take the razor blade off, and then buy the blades when they get to wherever they're at. So, oh, you're talking okay, salve that goes on their feet so they don't frostbite. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like the boots that they put on to keep them from um, to keep them from cutting their paws on the ice that might be under the snow. It's an idea, dog one. I haven't tried that one, and from what I hear, it works. But TSA is so funny sometimes. They may tell you, "Oh nope, you can't take that." Yeah, DC. I've seen video of dogs that they put the boots on them, and it's too odd for them, and they can't they don't do it. Um, but if it's too bad, we will probably take the dogs out through the garage so there's no steps or anything. Now, if they go out in the little yard, it's like 2 steps down, so it's nothing. But if it's really bad, if the deck were total ice or whatever, we would probably let them out through the garage so that they could um, just walk straight out and do their business and come right back in and not have any kind of obstacles to try to get over or anything. Um, I hope it's not that bad. I do hope it's not that bad. Dwayne Letterman, hope you're doing well, man. Dwayne's up here in the upstate of South Carolina as well, up in the uppermost left corner of South Carolina, I believe. And Omega says I'm drinking my favorite coffee brand, Black Rifle Coffee, Atomic Llama, Cinnamon Brown Sugar. It sounds like a pick me up for sure. DC says I clear a path in the yard, then usually lay down straw, but don't have straw. Yeah, the only straw I have right now is like a bedding straw for like plants. I did see I had some of that and hadn't thought about it. Dog one says, I hope it's snow. Yeah, I hope. I don't think we're going to get snow. I think if we get something, it'll probably be ice. But yeah. Hey, Paul Mills, thank you for being here, man. Sounds like Dog One wants one of those coffees, Omega. And Omega says, hit that like button. Please do that, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Yeah, you buy a whole bale of hay. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, see, Knife Monkey, thank you for being here. There's another one of those South Carolina knife peoples, not too far from me, which I've still yet to meet up with, despite the fact that I've been invited. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm hoping we don't, but I'm saying if we would probably get ice before we got snow. I don't think the snow's going to happen. The ice, I don't know. As I mentioned, I haven't seen I don't know that I've seen the latest forecast. Although I did hear, um, that after this weekend, there's supposed to be another storm system coming in the next weekend. So maybe we'll get some snow then. Who knows? But the last I heard, it's not looking good for the not getting anything, which is what I'm hoping for. Because there've been a lot of storms in the past. They were like, no, it's going to do this or it's going to do that, and we're be prepared, and then it not even be down in the 30s, and it's like, well, that one just went over us, which is fine. That would be what we want. DC says soon it'll be summer and we'll all be happy. Yep, or not. Some people don't like it if it's too hot or if it's too cold. Let's see. I was trying to look over here to see what they were saying that it was going to be. That was 6 hours ago. I'm not taking that into account. There's a lot of things online about propane and everything else, where it's at, who's got it in stock, and of course, I don't know how it is where you guys are, but the South Carolina guys know there's no bread and probably no milk at any store anywhere in the upstate. There may be, but probably not. Dog One says the Carolinas have one of the best distance from the sun equator. It makes for very colorful. Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty cool. SC Knife Monkey says they'll have several very nice high-end knives for sale cheap. Omega says summer is way better than winter. I like the fall, but I'm not going to complain. I like it in the winter time. I like it in the summertime. So, but I do especially like the fall for various and sundry reasons. Metal Relic Art says we get to complain about the heat then. Yep. Yep. DC Blade says fall is best but short. Yeah, that does tend to be. It does tend to to seem that way, that fall just doesn't last very long. Roger Baker says around here there's always a Dollar General that has milk and bread within 5 miles any direction. Generally, I would say you're probably correct, but I would venture to say that those are probably wiped out as well. They've had pictures of the supermarkets where the bread aisle is totally wiped out. And I don't understand that. I don't understand the milk and bread thing. Bread, yeah, a little bit. Sandwiches are easy to make. I don't know about the milk. I don't understand the whole mention of snow and it clears out the milk and bread aisles. SCNF Monkey says here in South Carolina we have 4 seasons, and that's true too. There's Bloomin' Hottie. Hey man, thank you for being here. I'm not gonna rap for you, but he's doing something here about turning Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby into a. All right, stop! Don't slam the brakes now. Listen. Turn into the side of the road you'll be missing. All right, DC, appreciate it. Yeah, I really like fall in this area. We usually get some good color, like going up to the Blue Ridge Mountains, and sometimes even stopping at NC Blade up there in Waynesville, North Carolina, so that we can keep this as a keep the kind of the topic being the EDC stuff. And yes, I have it listed as a fireside chat. I don't have the fire going, but I am sitting beside the fireplace. And I don't have that camera on either. I did last week. Dog One says, Texas, we have sky. 67 degrees today. Going to be 20. Yep. 54 today, 34 tomorrow. And I don't know what it's supposed to be tomorrow. I know they've been going through and looking at the oh great, and there's a power outage forecast, which is kind of crazy, from Mike's weather page, and from Dallas up to Nashville is widespread, and it's in red, and then from just east of Atlanta, all across the upstate of South Carolina up to Norfolk, Virginia, is also in red. So we shall see what happens. And let's see if I see anything else here. I'm seeing storm stuff on the book of faces from Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas, so warning people to get ready. So it would appear that this everybody's getting ready. Again, I hope it's a non-event, but I'm not going to count on that. We have to be prepared just in case. But I hope it's not bad. But again, Helene reminded us that what we think is going to happen isn't necessarily what's going to happen. So it's best to be prepared. Let's see. That was 7 hours ago from the National Weather Service in Greenville, saying that we could get 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch ice. And that was 13 hours. I'm not looking at that. That's too cold, or too old, not too cold. 42 minutes ago, one of the local meteorologists had a live, but I can't look at that right now since you guys are here. That was just a. Okay, this is 3 hours ago. Let's see what this is saying. My area, they're talking about, they're talking about maybe over 1.5 inches of freezing rain. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's not good at all. Let's see what else they're saying. And we're talking about wind gusts. Let's see, we're 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts. At least it's not the 40 mile an hour wind gusts they were talking about. But apparently the temperature is supposed to be. Is this the actual temperature or the. Apparently the temperature is supposed to be 9. I don't think this is going to be fun anyway, for any reason. But obviously it could be worse or it could be better. We'll see. Illuminati then told his boss he's not coming in tomorrow, calling for power outages to do the ice. Yeah, exactly. That's ice accumulating on power lines, ice accumulating on trees that then fall on the power lines. So, excuse me, you guys. Apparently, there's a big northward shift in the track yesterday, but I think that means the snowstorm was going north and there was still going to be ice coming down. So, anyhow. So, how do you guys get ready for stuff like that? I know I've talked about what we do or what we've done, a couple of things that we still need to do. And by the way, guys, if you want to, I have there's a Discord, and let me see if I can pull the Discord up and drop the link here, unless one of you guys have it. There's a Discord where you can drop your carry, and we can look at that in just a bit. Let's see, there's TKE's. It's actually TKE's channel or server, but he's put a channel in here for me. And let's see if I can. If you're not already in the Discord, I can drop a link here for that. Oops, that messed up. I don't know what happened just then. I think it messed up. Oh boy, it probably did. If something doesn't quits working here in just a minute, we'll know. All right, and that went away. All right, let me see what it's been saying here. Mega's keeping us up with how many's watching. Thank you for doing that. There's Crow's Blade Works. Hey, Ron. Hope you're doing well. SC Knife Monkey says, whole week I've been at the fire department getting things ready for the storm. Absolutely. There's a lot of preparation. And again, I hope we don't need it. And I'm not real confident of the fact that we won't need it. I think we're going to get something. I just hope it's not as bad as they say it could be. but I can't find anything here. But you guys go check out go check out the Discord. Leave a leave a picture of whatever your carry is. Robin Dallum has been putting some things in over the last um, few days, and also we got something from Mac and Milton and Ryan Crow. So again, if you've not already joined, you can join the Discord with the link that I put in there just a minute ago. And then there's also, let's drop in the link here for if you have already joined it, there's you a link to go post in my channel. There's HWG Live Pocket Check. And I'll see if I can't pin that message right there to the top of the chat. Oh, we've already been going for an hour. That's awesome. And let me find my chat window again. It looks like I messed up and stopped the social stream. So let me back up here and look over, and I'm going to actually restart that up and see if I can't get that running again. Okay, it looks like I've got it running again. Oops. I missed a very important part of got to click that there. And we'll see if that translates over and makes and does like it's supposed to. This dog wants us to cut off some water, wrap exposed pipes. You have all kinds of stuff. Pile up food, blankets, antifreeze. Yep. Pat the dog. Yep. Make sure everything's good. I mean, that's part of it. At some point in time, probably tomorrow, I'll go check and make sure all of the under the house vents are closing properly. I know I've already got the outside faucets closed up, and I've got things put on top of that, the covers for that. We actually moved the grill off of the deck down into the back porch so that we can get to it and do what we need to do there. So just all kinds of stuff, just not freaking out, just being prepared, just being ready, just in case. Apparently DC almost rated the blade, almost rated the fridge. Getting my words tangled up there. And now it did it again. It's wanting me to sign in. And I don't know what's going on there. Things are not going as planned. But that's kind of par for the course. Okay, that popped up as expected. I can actually get rid of that one, but that needs to come up like it's supposed to. Move that over. All right. This dog one thanked SC Knife Monkey for his service. Very good. All right. Chopping wood is very important if you've got the means to burn that wood, making sure that it's good and dry, and that it's protected from getting wet. And Ron Crow is in the house. Projectiles are sharp. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Hey, it started working again. All right, I'll get caught up and then I'll start when I get back to where I can throw you guys chat up on the screen. I will. Projectiles are sharp. Thank you for being here. Thomas Gates, thank you for being here. Roger Baker says better to be prepared than to be sorry. Absolutely. And I think that's the big thing that Helene taught us uh, back in 2024. I think it was September of 2024. As I mentioned, I wasn't prepared. Didn't think it was a big deal. Didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And then it was suddenly a big deal. Struggling to find stuff that we needed, to find gas in a lot of cases for the generators. I had generators, I had some gas, but it wasn't enough. And my son-in-law went and bought some gas in another state almost, and apparently it was bad gas, and that made things interesting. So I think that a lot of folks in this area are some people are freaking out probably, but a lot of people are just being prepared. So, all right. But as Roger Baker said, be better to be prepared than to be sorry. DC says nothing wrong with a man protecting his castle. And then it jumped on me. Oh man, it jumped big time. All right, let's see if I can. Thomas Gates, nothing's happened yet, but a lot of folks in the South are anticipating that there may be a large storm, and some of it's ice, which is not going to be fun. One says I had a year as a bachelor where I got iced in, had meals of jars of olives and a jar of PB. Oh man! Hey Dragoon LSK, good to see you as well. YouTube Music Portal, thank you for being here. Let's see, am I out? Okay, there we go. I'm caught up to where I can throw you guys up on the screen there. Let's bring that across where I can see better. Got some new glasses. They're doing fine, but it never hurts to have it where I can see a little bit better. And thanks for everybody stopping by. I appreciate that. DC says, remember the blizzard of 2011? Yeah, and there's times I remember, I think 88 or 89 here in the South, there was a big storm where we had about a foot of snow, and school was out for about a week, if I recall correctly. And that's the thing. A foot of snow in a lot of places, not a big deal. But when you don't have the infrastructure down here to handle it, then it becomes a problem. Roger Baker said Helene surprised everyone. I talked to one guy that his wife went into labor during. Oh my goodness. Had to drive for hours to find a hospital. Wow. Absolutely. Dragoon says, what are we preparing for? The possible ice storm there, Dragoon. Just talking about it. Talking about how that EDC folks sometimes are, they tend to be prepared for stuff. They carry things that allow them to be prepared to address many different situations, and how that's translating into how we're being prepared for this possible storm. We're hoping. Dragoon, you could possibly be getting some storming coming up probably Saturday sometime. May want to check the forecast. You're not that far away from us, but there's there's a possibility that we could get some weather. We're hoping not, but they're saying we could. Um, ooh, dog one says we had a bunch of kids drown at a day camp down there in Texas. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That's that was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. That was. I mean, I remember that. DC says in New York they're talking feet 9 inches. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine. I mean, I can only imagine. And Roger Baker says, no doubt it would have been too if my child wasn't. Absolutely. Thomas Gates says we deal with firestorms out here. Oh yeah, it's something. It seems like there's most of the time you're going to have the potential of some kind of storm, whether it be if you're talking the Midwest, Oklahoma, Texas. You're talking about tornadoes, which Bluminati knows well about. Um, then up in the in the northwest they have a lot of snow at times, and then of course um, our northeast gets a good bit of snow sometimes. And then you got hurricanes on the coast a lot of times. So I mean, it's always seems like there's always something, and it may not be as bad in some areas as is in others, and in some cases, it's just a thing of being prepared. It's kind of like when a hurricane's coming. Do everything you can to be prepared in case you lose power for days. Henry G says, I need to see it before I believe it. Years ago, they told everyone to stay home because of unsafe conditions. Everyone did. Not exactly. And that's the thing, Henry G. That's what I said. Maybe, hopefully, it's a non event. And there's been quite a few times where, they hype something up and then, oh, it didn't get cold enough, so it didn't do anything but rain. And that's what I'm hoping. Thomas Gates says, I'm down in San Diego. And yes, there was, I was out in San Diego, it's been years ago now. And apparently they were getting rain like they were not used to. I mean, just torrential rains. Um, at least from the folks that I talked to, they were like, this is not normal. Illuminati says, yeah, tornado, no. Absolutely there, Blue. Yeah, and that's the thing. DC, you get folks that either aren't capable of dealing with it because their mental faculties aren't there. They may have dementia or something, and think they can go do things as normal, and they can't because there's ice all over everything. Or we invariably hear about folks that run the generator in the house or in a garage connected to the house, and then carbon monoxide doesn't play. Things like that, and it's hard to it's rough. Or they catch their house on fire because they're trying to stay warm. So yeah, yeah, it looks like anybody on the East Coast or from Texas to the East Coast is in this one. We'll see. Sometimes, sometimes like somebody else said, if it were just snow, that would be awesome. But then they're talking about ice. Mr. Eddie says storms are like TKE, not real. He was actually here, Mr. Eddie, apparently before the live. Apparently, he did say hello, Thomas, or something like that. Let's see here. I've got behind on the. I'm a few minutes behind here. Jim Blaze says, Thomas, EDC Gates, how you liking this? How you enjoy this rain we're getting? TKE's real, I think. He's yeah, he's real. Jim Blaze says I got drenched going out to get my delivery. And I was telling my wife earlier something about my knee hurting, and I'm like, probably might be the weather there. He was here. I don't know if he came back in or not there, Paul Mills. Dog One says California's been through the ringer past few, one thing after another. It does seem like that way sometimes. Illuminati says maybe Canada will pull the reins on their cold horse before it gets too far down. Henry G says definitely better to be prepared and don't have and have not. And I think those of us that have a interest in EDC, that's kind of our thing when we're talking about the things we carry on us on a daily basis. So yeah, absolutely. Bob Tism is here. Thanks, Bob Tism, for being here. I appreciate everybody that's coming by and checking in, saying hello. Appreciate y'all. Dog One says fun to get a package. Absolutely. Jim Blaze says Thomas Gates, my body pain is a bit subdued due to my middle daughter making me pop. Ooh, ouch, 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 ouch. Bob Tism says we're about to get frozen out. Where are you located, Bob Tism? And that's kind of what we've been kind of talking about is we as folks that are of the EDC persuasion, generally carry things that help us be prepared for situations, and then kind of translating that into what we've done to be prepared for this potential storm. And it's not a guarantee. It's looking kind of like it's going to be that way. And we've got prepared as much as we can, I think, or at least we should be by tomorrow. Got a few more things I might want to do, but getting there. DC says flashlight and lighter. Yeah, a lot of folks, that's what they will carry, part of what they carry. Days when we came back. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Hey, Wyvern Kodiak, thank you for being here, man. Do appreciate it. And Bob Tism says, yeah, down here in Marietta, yep, absolutely. Generally speaking, whatever Atlanta gets, it tends to come up here toward Greenville. And I'm just south of Greenville. Sometimes it'll actually, even though I'm Greenville County, whatever weather it is stays north of me. Hopefully. I don't really want to deal with ice for a week, but if it happens, it happens. It's just part of it. It is what it is. But Bob Tism, y'all stay safe down there too. Blue, I think he's just excited to see the number of viewers at from time to time. I don't think it's a bot though. So we've got the Wyvern today, not the Kodiak. Awesome, man. Had some fun watching some of your lives lately. There's Robin Dallin, and we're going to check the Discord pictures here in just a few minutes and see if we can't see if we can't see what some folks are carrying. So y'all hang around. I probably am going to um, have some help on some of the stuff, especially Robin's stuff. Once I was going to get a sack full of fast food in the morning, nail the door shut, and chill. Hey, that's a plan. That's a plan. That's awesome. Wyvern the gay Kodiak. Oh man, that was funny listening to the explanation of the Wyvern and Kodiak on one of the lives recently. Thomas EDC, there's Kathleen Smith. Hey, thank you for being here, Kathleen. Thomas EDC Gate says I might be a bot, and I'm still a minute behind you guys. Oh, you had some good conversation going on there. So absolutely. All right, Jim Blaze. Let's see here. All right, let's see if I can switch over to. Let's see if I can switch over to the. Bring up that. Make that. And then scroll back for a while. See where I want to start. I think I'm going to start right there. And let's see if I can get this to pull up. All right, and that's exactly what I want. Let's see if I can make that fit there and there and transition over, and let's take a look. The only thing is, let me pull this back up so I can see the conversation, so I can find out what's going on. Hold up. Let's see here. It looks like we've got some activity that I need to address before we before we start talking about the knives. Let's see. Mattisfaction says I just work here. Hey, Matty. Appreciate it, man. And I missed something there. That's okay. Maddie is in the house. Somebody said Beetlejuice. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got here on the Discord. This is a obscene something another, and I should know what it is because I partially modded one of those for Fred the Lug. And I can't remember the name of it. Oh well. Something of obscene design, something another. But very cool there on the bolster. I like that. All right. Thanks, Robin, for posting all these. And then he's got a cool fixie. Yep, somebody did let Ron Crow in. He's got a cool fixie here, which I think I've seen before. And then there is a knife that looks suspiciously like a Vulcan knife, which I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And Vulcan makes some really cool knives. I've got a couple of those, and I like them. And then Mr. Eddie. And I think I heard what this one was last night, and Forgot because it was overload. And I'm trying to see if, make sure that nobody's telling me what they are. But that's a cool knife as well. Those scales are wild. What was the obscene design, Robin, that you had on the previous one? That's pretty cool design on the scales there. JK, that's it. 4.0. I think the one that I played with was maybe a 3. Maybe. I'm not up on those obscene design knives. And that is some crazy milling. That's the JK. And then he's got a Vulcan and something else there, a fixie, which is a great size, looks like a great size little fixie. And then Mac had the crazy milling. And again, I don't know that one. Milton. Hey, Cliff Brock, thank you for being here. Very cool. Milton's been getting some fire lately. And let me make sure nobody posted what it is. Ron Crow says Altan's Lemon Shark and G10 Micarta PI. See that whatever this one is in Micarta PI, Kaiser OG T1 in Micarta, and the Manganus Camino in Purple Flow Camo Carbon. He has quite a collection there of the 3 very similar versions. That's the Camino. Okay, so it's the Lemon Shark and G10 Micarta and PI, and then the Kaiser OG1. Okay, I got it translated out. So that's the Kaiser OG1, and that's the Alatan's Lemon Shark are all the 3 in the center. So yeah, okay, gotcha. There's Dragoon, has a Kaiser sheep's foot is what they call it, I think. I still don't have one of those. I need to get one of those. And then something in Nitro V, very cool. And it looks like from the picture, he may have actually been putting those to work. Robin's got another cool picture here with I think he actually said what it is. Lee Lerman Black Snow Sandbar Sabotage with custom thumb studs, courtesy of Polymite. What did Wyvern do? Sheepdog and a Duran. Okay, thank you for that. Dragoon. And that's another very cool knife. And from what I think he said, a Black Snow custom. And that's it. That's all you guys posted. Let me check and make sure. There was a lot of chatting going on here, which is cool. Thomas Gates says, no one knows you, Paul Mills. Oh, man. We know Paul Mills. Omega says I have about 14 case knives. Cool. I have a few, but I prefer more, I guess, the modern knives, like the locking knives. But I do have some case knives. Cliff Brock's coming out of lurk mode. Thank you, Cliff Brock, for being here. Ooh, either one. Pecan, or sweet tater pie. Either one. Bean pie? What y'all talking about? What you talking about, Willis? Okay, that makes sense. Satisfaction says, you don't get a bill like mine not being hungry. Don't y'all start talking about food and make me hungry. What did Wyvern do? Oh, asking Maddie stuff. Robin says, no, Wyvern, bad Wyvern. Oh, of course he has a shelf for that. Oh, I tell you what, be careful out there, Dragoon. If you're working nights, that may be why you don't know what's going on with the storm wise. But just be careful and take a look. Don't be caught. Unawares. Hopefully, it's a non-event. I keep saying that, but hopefully that be the case. Sometimes, there's certain folks that get in here and they get to sparring with one another. As long as you keep it friendly and nice, that's good fun. It's the Wyvern, not the Kodiak. The only Wyvern. Apparently, that's the good Wyvern. Okay. All right, y'all behave now. Don't make me sick Mr. Eddie on you. He's probably not even listening now. All right, so I think that was it with the with that. So did I even? Yeah, I did. Okay. Got scared there for a minute that I didn't actually do that. And where's my? Something got missing here. Oh, there we go. Didn't get missing. I just didn't know where to look. All right, so there that goes. And then my other screen got disappeared. There we go. Okay. DC says I'm having beans and hot dogs tomorrow. That sounds like a very Satisfaction approved meal there, DC. All right, so we've been going for an hour and a half. That's awesome. I don't feel as rushed on Thursday nights that I'm going to step on somebody. And I probably am stepping on someone, although probably with the folks that are here, maybe in multiple chats. So that's fine too. Cliff Brought said Maddie is deadly to hot dogs. Wow. What are we talking about calling Vinny and Guido? Oh my, it's getting spicy in here, isn't it? Yep, Knife Junkie is live here. I think he goes live about 10 o'clock, and I don't think I'm going to stay on very much longer. He's here way before I am, and it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Wyvern says, you do you, bro. We all have to step on other channels. Yep. And I was doing Tuesday nights, and it was too crazy. And I like to hang out with Darkwater, and so that wasn't working out well. So because he would I'd be tired after doing mine, or if he were doing his, he went over, then I wouldn't get to be on listen to what was going on there. So yeah, Tuesday got crazy. I don't think it was that crazy when I first started doing it on Tuesday, but it was still it worked out. I thought that would be the best day for me. But Thursdays are okay too. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I actually got on with Darkwater for a while on Tuesday night, and that's another thing. I wasn't able to do that before. So That was pretty cool as well. Although he showed my face the entire time, just about. DC says I need more lives during the daytime. Yeah, and that's the thing with me. I work during the daytime. Um, and that makes sense too. Listen to lives all day. And then I'll stop by on Wednesday nights once I get home and say hello to Maddie and the crew. And yeah, Thursday seems to have a little more people coming in and visiting, so that's just awesome. And exactly, Roger. A lot going on Tuesdays. Paul Mills, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Everyday Crew. And I'm pretty sure that's a re-up, so thank you so much for that. Luke Luke comes on late, right? He's not on yet, is he? Paul Mills, I appreciate that, man. Wyvern, yeah, do that. And that's true. Wyvern, where are you guys at? I had the feeling that y'all were up in the Montana area, but I may be wrong on that. Satisfaction says, I always say go live when it's best for you. People choose where to spend their. Absolutely. And there's times where I'll get on to it at the same time. Whoever says we're in Indiana, yep, you're one of the ones that could get some storms. I hope we don't. I hope we don't. But yeah, I hope that again. I said it before. I hope it's a non-event. But we were just talking about being prepared just in case. Well, I appreciate that, Roger Baker. He kind of surprised me on that one. So, do you want to come on? And I'm like, I'm not ready to do this. And then, so anyhow, DC says, "Oh, you're getting it because I'm getting it, and it's going your way." Oh, thanks. Oh man, that's Indiana. Yeah, they are getting it. Probably so. Barbara says, "I hope so too, and pray for everyone, especially those in the South that don't experience it and won't be prepared." Yep, that's the thing. The power grid, whether it stays up or not, and depending on how much ice we get, if it were just snow, it wouldn't be that bad, I don't think. Um, Ice, that's a different story. But a lot of folks, well, a lot of folks in this area, I think, are being more prepared because of what happened with Helene. Um, I mean, it's caused people to totally rethink things, and because it wasn't it wasn't so much that the government was helping us out. There were, as soon as this was over, it was neighbors. I live out in the country. It was neighbors getting out and cutting trees off the roads so that people could get through and the emergency equipment could get through. And that happened a lot, where it was people helping people, not counting on or expecting assistance to come, uh, especially as far out as we live. That's just the plain and simple of it. It was being prepared and helping where you could. So let's see. Yep, we're prepared. I'm not going to be scared yet, but if it's a heavy ice storm, it's not going to be good. Because it's just, from what I see, it's a potential to be a big swath of people that are without power, and usually when there's something goes on, you've got power crews from different areas come in. but it looks like the most of the South is potentially could be impacted. So it's not going to be fun. And same here, same here. Um, Above ground power lines, and that's all over the South. Well, Everett said it. That's right. Help one and help one another and show patience and grace. And that was the cool thing today. I stood in line for 45 minutes to get a propane tank filled. And folks were just standing there chatting, helping each other back up and get out of a very crowded parking lot. And it's cool when that's what happens. And people aren't just going nuts. So, but I was in a small town, so that may have something to do with it. Well, Everett said I grew up in the Northeast, used to it, but no others aren't. Absolutely, and that again, it's the infrastructure down here is not equipped for. It's not equipped for the things that could happen. If it's a lot of ice on the roads, it's just going to be waiting until, in a lot of cases, wait until it gets warm enough to melt the ice. Dog One says, I wonder if it's possible to weatherproof the grid. I think if things were underground, it would be a lot better. But the putting it underground in the past has been cost prohibitive, I think, if I understand correctly. So they just popped up the poles all along, and that's a lot of what got taken down during Helene as well. It's the reason we were without power for 9.5 days, because at least on my road there was a huge tree about 3/4 of a mile away that was down on the line, and then probably a mile down the other way there was another tree down on the line, and that big tree was, I mean, it was huge, and I think it took special equipment to move the tree, and so that got prioritized to not to the end, because they were trying to get as many people up as possible to make the best use of the crews that were in the area. Let's see. Thomas EDC Gates says, stay safe. Absolutely. We've all been through worse times. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's, as someone has mentioned, just be prepared. That's all we can try to do. And again, I'm not going to worry about it. I think we should have enough here to be good to go. But I also know I've got neighbors. If something happens, that would help out. So it's not a big deal. I hope that's the case though. Well, Everett said put it underground, but it's a cost issue. Yep, to redesign infrastructure and to go down all of these rural roads and bury the power, that'd be pretty crazy. Now, fiber, they've buried that, and I think with the technology they have now, it's a whole lot easier to do that. I saw a video of somebody using a flamethrower to melt the ice on their sidewalk slash driveway. So yeah. Roger Baker said I got a generator about 5 years ago. It was one of the best purchases. Yep, absolutely. And I used 3 different generators during Helene, and ended up buying another one. Those 3 weren't all mine. I actually went and borrowed my dad's, and then across the road and borrowed the neighbor's. He has one of those Generacs, so he didn't need the generator that we had fixed up in case somebody needed one. Apparently, I got some bad gas in my generator. Yep, power outages do have a tremendous cost. Baptism, I don't know how I can heat my house if the grid goes out. Baptism, get a buddy heater if you can. Um, although a lot of that stuff got sold out around here really quickly. Buddy heaters are good. They can use the 1 pound propane tanks, or if you have one that comes with a an adapter, it can actually connect to one of the grill tanks, propane grill tanks. Another option is kerosene. If you have somebody that has kerosene heaters for sale, that's a possibility as well. However, absolutely, it sometimes it takes a catastrophic event to show the best in people. It can also show the worst in people, but it's very cool when it's the other way around. When it shows the best in people, and you've got neighbors working together. I know I went out. I heard chainsaws when things started settling down. Uh, Took my chainsaw, went out. They was folks cutting trees just enough to get the vehicle through, and then I cut a little bit more to make it to where it wouldn't be such a tight fit. Try to move some trees off the road. Uh, that wasn't near as bad as the one that was up the other way, and I didn't go up that way. But that's what it takes, is people working together and checking on one another. See, Bob's Dragoons will help you out, Bob. Yep. Busted water lines is another thing that you got to deal with if your house gets really cold. And um, if you have PEX, it's not such a bad deal. I don't have PEX, so I'm hoping to keep the house warm. I'm hoping that, because you're absolutely right, Baptism, and that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun at all. I don't like doing uh, uh, I don't like doing plumbing, but I especially don't like doing plumbing when it's very cold. Water line bursts are not fun at all. Yep, linemen are stellar. Those guys get out in the worst conditions and get stuff up and running. Cliff Brott says, "I'm in Alaska. You'll be okay." Cliff, y'all are prepared for it up there. We're not prepared for it in the South. Dragoon says they ran a champion generator for 5 days straight when the last storm hit here in Georgia. You're probably talking about Helene there, Dragoon. And yeah, that's absolutely. I think let's see, SC Knife Monkey said something about that 2014. Yep. But a bad storm was out cutting trees. It was on one pine tree that was bowed. It was like an 8-inch pine. It started cutting it. It popped. Woo! Yeah, you gotta be careful. Roger says, my brother is an engineer for a big power company, and I asked him that very question. Could it be put underground? He said, yes, but you're looking at hundreds of billions to do it. Yep. Baptism, from what I understand, and I know I would be cautious as well. Um, it is a fear. If you have a carbon monoxide tester or a um, detector, then it would be advisable to run it. I did see a video where someone put a buddy heater full blast in a camper and put a carbon monoxide detector in there to see if it would go off, and ran it for hours, and it never even blinked like there was carbon monoxide. But there's always that fear, and there's always that caution. DC says, I've got the buddy heater cabinet heater that takes 20-pound tanks. And it's pretty cool that Cliff lives in Alaska, isn't it? Yeah, use it in a ventilated area. Um, a lot of times, folks will like lower a window just a little bit, and but you can still use it to heat up areas. Kevin Sandra, thank you for being here. Um, how much you'd honestly be surprised how much heat two clay pots, one inverted, one on top of the other, and a candle can produce, and that's true too. I've seen several examples of that, and almost did that for a tree stand, but I did get a buddy heater and um, one of the 20-pound um, canisters, grill tank things, and hooked it up and have it in the deer stand with me. Didn't have any issue with that, but of course, most of the time I have a one of the windows open. So there's that. But y'all just be any way you're on, any way that you're are, just be careful. That's the important thing. Be careful. Let's see. SC Knife Monkey's adventures with cutting trees, and that's part of it. Yeah, was a volunteer firefighter for many years. Dragoon says, I'm lucky being from Florida. We are bonded over hurricanes, so other places, natural disasters, we just cut better. Yep. Roger Baker says, if you use any kind of natural gas or propane heaters in your house, you should always have carbon monoxide detectors. Absolutely. Our first thing that we would probably use to heat the house would be the propane logs or the gas logs that we have. And then I've got a buddy heater, and I've also got kerosene. So, but again, all of that, you still need to have that carbon monoxide detector or tester. Yeah, Helene was something else, and I'm way behind you guys. DC said I redid all my plumbing at my cabin in the UP to PEX tubing. Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't have PEX tubing yet, but I hear that's the way to go. And Kevin Santer says we're looking at a high of -5 tomorrow. Heat wave. Youch. Dog one says plumbing and roofing, hot or cold. And it does seem at my other house, or the house I previously had, not my other house. I've only got one. But back after we first got married, um, had two instances that I can recall having to do plumbing when it was either sleeting or snowing or very cold. None of that's fun. Hey, Mallory. Or Dylan, Mallory. Thanks for being here, man. Do appreciate it. Hey, Brown Sugar. Thank you for being here as well. Dog one, I'm sure there's all kinds of videos about that using those clay pots, that you would use for planting plants in the clay type, and actually putting a like a tea candle under it and heating up for like emergencies. And let's see. DC, I'm not sure. I've got too far behind to remember what we're talking about here. Again, says Bob, in Georgia, your bathroom fart fan vents through the roof. Just take the cover off. The heat will carry carbon out. Carbon monoxide, I think, is what he's talking about. DC says I've used them in my eye shanty, never had a problem. And yeah, that's the thing. I think they're, if you're in an area where you're fairly open, you should be fine again. But as mentioned, those detectors, making sure they're got batteries in them for one, that's important. DC isn't it a law? Well, it may be in some areas. DC, I'm not sure. Probably depends on the state. If I'm being fair. Back in the day, I remember the jet heater. Absolutely, yeah. That was man. Those things are loud. I remember those as well. And I think Dragoon answered that question. And I think Brown Sugar's up there in the Northeast, and hopefully y'all be okay up there as well. Mallory's in Georgia, if I recall correctly. So he's probably maybe getting ready for any kind of craziness that may ensue with the weather. Roger Baker says, yeah, some states, but not all. If you use any type of gas heat or stove, you should always have a detector to be on the safe side. Just not a chance you want to take with that. No, absolutely. I think these probably going to get some questions about the H2O and if it's on the way yet. Just kidding, Dylan. Just kidding. I'm not being serious on that. Yep. Out in the sticks, I always have candles on hand. Good to be inside. Absolutely. I feel there's some nights, and again, we live in the South. It's usually not that cold, but there's nights where it's getting lower 20s and the wind's howling. I am so thankful to have a warm place to be in out of the cold and a warm bed. Absolutely. Yep. Thank a lineman, emergency responders. Never hurts to stop asking the water or a snack. And yeah, sometimes it's you're standing out there for a long time. Old man on the ridge, thank you for being here, man. Been watching on TV. Just finished installing a diesel heater. There you go. In my off-grid cabin yesterday. Boy, does that thing throw off the heat. Back up to my Mr. Buddy cabinet heater. There you go. And I've heard good things about those diesel heaters as well. Um, I've seen videos with using them in the like the truck life guy does uses one of those in his campers when they will work, but he also has the uh, wood stove as a backup. And I saw someone had installed a diesel heater on a regular camper the other day, and they were talking about how much better it heated the camper for just a little bit of fuel. So Roger Baker says my dad used to work for a propane company, and for the most part, gas is very safe. However, it only takes a few minutes if there's a leak to disorient you to the point of losing consciousness. Yep. Brown Sugar said she's in New York. Did my shopping today. I'm ready. Awesome. Mr. Eddie's in Arizona, so he said it's not cold there today. But I think he did say it was supposed to be cold tomorrow. It might snow. Isn't that what you said, Mr. Eddie? Oh man, let's see. Kevin Center says I moved to from Hawaii back to Michigan after 20 years. Not impressed with them. It gets cold up there in Michigan. DC says wood stove at my camp is great. Takes about an hour to warm up. Mr. Eddie's probably been in and out of the live, popping in and out. Probably working on a skateboard or something. DC says, I need a hot tub. Old Man on the Ridge, whereabouts are you located, sir? Said they emptied out the stores today, and the real storm is a day out here near St. Louis. Are you not talking about Seattle, are you? Oh, you need my address? Okay, hang on. Let me type it in another chat over here. I wasn't paying attention to you either. I thought you had sent enough stuff this way you knew it. Okay, got it sent to you. And yes, the stores got emptied out. And I was talking earlier about standing in line for like 45 minutes to get propane. Whoops. Baptism says Michigan is horribly cold. That's where I grew up. Yep. Old Man on the Ridge, St. Louis. Yeah, you're in the storm as well, from what they're saying. Robin Dallin says Seattle, it's going to be 50 tomorrow. It was 50 today here. It's down to 43, but the coming days are not looking good for it staying that warm. DC says, or Kevin Santer said, yeah, man, there's nothing like soaking in the hot tub after snow blowing the driveway. Yeah, I can see where that would be a good way to warm up. I have never had to snow blow a driveway. I've never had to shovel snow for that matter. And it doesn't seem like that would be a whole lot of fun to me. That being said, for those same reasons, we're not equipped down here to handle the amount of ice that we're likely to get. Well, or snow for that matter. Snow pretty much shuts us down as well. But it is what it is. Paul's just north of Old Man on the Ridge, about 45 minutes. Mr. Brady says, I'm just distracting you from this heater talk. It's boring. It wouldn't be boring if you didn't have heat and were getting cold. Now, would it, sir? Nope, it wouldn't. But you like those warm areas like Arizona anyways. Jim Blaze says, I used to live in Michigan. DC says, yep, I'm a Youper. Neil McKenzie's out there close to Mr. Eddie. But very cool. All right, you guys, we've been going for 2 hours, and I think I'm about talked out for now. It's been awesome to have everyone in here. Been a lot of fun. I don't know how many people we've had, but it's been awesome to see everyone come in and chat for a while. Y'all come back next week. We'll have for the members. There's the monthly giveaway of a knife, and then for everybody else, the participants, there's a giveaway of a 3D printed EDC item. Most folks usually choose the 3D printed knife stands, but we've got some other things as well. So y'all come on back next week, and we'll plan on doing this again. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, wonderful rest of your week. Anybody that's in the paths of whatever storms may be out there, be careful. Make sure you reach out to others and make sure they're okay as well, and help anybody that you may be able to. Y'all have a wonderful night. Stay safe for the rest of the week, and see y'all again next week. Thank y'all.